Hi Natasha, this is just a response to your question regarding spider charts. Thanks for uploading the image because, as you know, an image is worth 1,000 words, so it's pretty clear now what the issue is. Uh, these shouldn't be single radiating lines, they should be attached by the vertexes of the polygon to give a sort of sense of the whole picture. And I can see where the confusion is rising, and so I'll just refer you to another student's work once we've had a look at this. So let's go to Illustrator. Let's pull your image in. I'll hold down Shift while I drag that out, and let's say maybe I'll just lock that so it doesn't have the X's over the top. I'll select the polygon tool and just click somewhere in here. Now you can see that this is 7-sided, this is 7, could make it 5, but let's be sensible and have it 7 as it needs to be. It's a white fill with a black background, which is standard. Let's just knock out the fill so we can see what's in there. We're just left with the stroke. Let's change that to, say, bright green, so it's easy to see, and crank up the stroke. We could do that here. In fact, once we've got it selected, it'll come up in the properties as well. 2 mils okay. I'll go into the imminent selection tool at the moment, so let's go into the direct selection tool so I can manipulate these points, and then we just move. Actually, that's see, they're all blue, so they're all selected, which is why I moved the whole thing. I'll click off the shape or the stroke, the line, and now one of them's blue, so only that one's going to move. I'll bring that to there, click that to there, and then you've done the work for me to put these guides in. Let's call them guides now. So now I know where to line these things up, and there we have it. Maybe I'll even go into the stroke and round the corners. Sorry, that's the caps. There's no caps here, so the corners is what I wanted, which was getting rid of this. So watch me turn it. So this is what I was wanting to get rid of. So go into the stroke, change that to a rounded corner. What does this one do? Squares it off. It's a bit ugly. That was a bit nicer. Okay, so that is really what we're expecting. Now I can see the confusion. There's only one line, and in the tutorial I had several sets of data that showed several relationships between the different things. That might have been on different times of the day, or it could have been different days of the week that different students were using different amounts of buses and walking. So maybe the weather got nicer, so people decided to walk rather than catch the bus or take their own car, or maybe somebody else wouldn't drop them off to school that day, so they had to catch the bus instead. I believe you know who I'm talking to. So you might like to break the data up. So if you were to divide this data into smaller bits, to say at 9 a.m, this could be the 9 a.m. Chart, and then you might grab another one, and 7's good. Okay, it's still the same color, so let's change it to blue, and remember, let's go into direct selection, select off it, and you could say at midday people caught less buses, they walked more, they actually cycled a lot more in the middle of the day because it's probably safer. Uber's pretty much the same, and light rail, let's say maybe that went up a little bit too, and then motorcycles and cars drop right away in the middle of the day because of the traffic or something. So I've just made all of this up. This is the one that you've been given, And the idea is that really the end result is not that interesting, but if you fabricated some more data to go alongside the data you were given, that's no problem, and that's going to give more interest to the diagram, and also show that you're thinking about how maybe these data sets might transform over time. So that's really the response that I gave another student. I don't know why that binged there. Another student in the class. If we go back to the question and answer forum, the student Iona, I hope I'm saying that correctly, that was the advice that I gave her. I think that's female name. I'm just guessing, but you can see instead of having just one layer of information, I've suggested they broke car up into sort of brands and bikes up into brand or type as well. So that's sort of what I'm suggesting for you too, to make your diagram a little bit more interesting. You're doing the data that you've been given, but you're also doing extra, which is never any problem. Okay, I hope this answers the question. Thanks very much for watching.